Benvenuti to beautiful Bologna, the medieval city that captures the hearts and minds of the tourists and the students and anyone who comes across here. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous city, and I'm super excited to show you around. Hello everyone, I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist, and let's explore Bologna here on a nice stroll, winding through the streets, the portico streets of Bologna. It's the city of porticos, so all these covered walkways that we see right over here, and we're going to explore all of them. Let me know where you're watching from. We have a busker playing a very popular song. And we are at the plaza right in front of the main basilica of the city that is technically half built. I went inside, it is gorgeous. Unfortunately, they don't allow video inside, but I want to show you around Bologna and look at the beauty of the city. Hey, Ray Annette is tuning in from your new house. Oh, Ray Annette, that's so awesome to hear. Welcome, 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 everyone. Nice to see you here. This is how the cathedral looks, the basilica looks like inside. Such a stunning, huge, gigantic cathedral. It's free entry. There is a security check, but it's pretty light security, so don't worry too much. You just have to dress properly, so don't wear super short shorts and have a shirt on. That's basically, I think that's what they're asking. Hello Kay, hello Christina, hello Emily, Janice, Nebul, Diana. We got all the people tuning in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me go this way. I'll show you the... Is it 6 p.m. in Italy, says Nebul. Indeed it is. Does the plaza have tiles? No, it does not. The church does. The plaza doesn't. Julie, welcome. The Luxury. Nice to see you here. Susie says good afternoon/evening. Buonasera, Susie. Buonasera. Salve to everyone tuning in. Let's wiggle our way through the city. Ooh. I'm just stunned by this city. It has a vibrancy that, if you directly compare it to Milan is more tourist heavy, especially in the Duomo area. For Milan, you have to go a little bit further out to the canal areas in the southern part of the city. But here, there's a vibrancy almost every corner. The city's not that big, but it is so pleasant to walk around. I've always been a fan of these medieval cities because every corner you turn, there's always something there. A restaurant, a bar, little shops. Susie says, so glad I'm off work today and I can watch everything. Well, I'm glad you can too, Susie. Thank you so much for tuning in. Here's the hop on, hop off bus tour over here. Hello, Sebastian. Janice says, beautiful sky. It is a beautiful sky. Indeed. Indeed, Sebastian.
Sto vivendo,
So apparently here is a cinema, Modernismo. It's a restored old cinema here. It's kind of cool that it's in the basement level. Hello, Sebastian. Hello. Nebu says you gotta mix Italian and Spanish. Yeah, it's like buenasera. It's buonasera. B-O rather than B-U-N-E. Look at the beautiful tiling work right over here. Always look up when it comes to these cities. You always see some interesting signage that's old, even though despite this is a desigual, they kept the old image of the theater that used to be here. Vincent, nice to see you here. Welcome. Hey, wow, look at what they're playing at Modernismo. They're playing a spaghetti western por un puño de dollari, which I think translates into a fistful of dollars. There we go, a fistful of dollars. This is Sergio Leone, who did the spaghetti westerns with Clint Eastwood. Most famous for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That's the most famous film of that trilogy with Clint Eastwood. But they were heavily inspired by Japanese films like Yojimbo. And this is, what's the name? Akira Kurosawa was his name. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. I would totally see that. That is awesome that they're showing that. Hey, Kay says 3 years ago today you were in Ireland. Oh, how I miss Ireland. I can't wait to go back at some point. Ireland really had a affinity, deep affinity for Ireland. So now we're reaching aperitivo hour, so you can get yourself a drink, like a spritz, Americano, Negroni, gin and tonic, and you can get little bites. Sometimes the bites are rather extensive, basically full-on buffets of light bites, and then sometimes it's just like a few chips and a few nuts. It really depends where you go. If they charge you like 15 euro for a Negroni, there's a good chance that it's going to be very generous, the amount of little snacks that they give you. And this is usually a pre-dinner type of deal that they do here in many parts of Italy. Originates apparently from Venice. Milan is really what made it popular, and it's here and also in Bologna. And Bologna here is way more than I've seen in Rome. Rome is a little bit more rare to find aperitivo. And there is a Italy here. Though if you are here in Italy, I would recommend not going to Italy. Italy is like going to it's like if you're going to the southern states of the US and you're going to like a Dallas BBQ, or you're in New York, you're going to Applebee's for a burger. It could be pleasant, but I would recommend going for a good classic osteria or trattoria when you're here in Bologna. Joe, nice to see you here. It says bonjour de Montreal. Nice. Susie says time to visit Kay's Kilkenny Kitchen. Oh yes. Can't be using that abbreviation, but it was a beautiful kitchen indeed. Still think about that butter with toast. It wasn't toast with butter, it was butter with toast. It was butter with a little bit of toast. It was really good. Hey, this is the street that Marta took me with all the little treats and cookies and whatnot. Some wine. Who wants some wine? Let me know. We got full wine for all of you. Christine says, where are we? We are in Bologna. B-O-L-O-G-N-A. Which is Bologna. Not Bologna. but Bologna is definitely derived from the name of the city, Bologna. Who wants a ham? Let me know. Are you ham for ham? So Bologna is way more pleasant walking around in the when it's sunny. It was crazy the past few days in rain, so I didn't get to really enjoy Bologna to its maximum. And ooh, here there's a nice market. That's really cool. Susie says, I grew up in Bologna sandwiches. Yeah, you know, it is a very interesting experience coming here to Bologna because a lot of quintessential American foods are started here. So pasta bolognese, pretty much a very standard pasta dish you can find all around the US. Bologna, the soft cheeses for sure. You can find them all around the US and they all started here. Sebastian says, are you going to a different country? Yes, you'll be seeing another country for sure on this trip. Today I had a lasagna, which was impeccable, and I'm going to pop up the video of it. Behold, lasagna. Oh my, I'm finally trying a classic lasagna bolognese, which is 11 layers of pasta filled with bechamel and ground beef goodness. And I'm super hyped for this. I'm in this restaurant called La Trattoria de Tempo Bologna. It's very nice. It's open all throughout the day, which is great if you are American like me and like eating more at 4 p.m. as opposed to waiting until later in the night for the big heavy meal. All right, let's try this out. Wow, so cheesy, creamy. Oh, that's so good. Oh, I am beyond impressed. Oh, that molto bene. That's great. Wow. Susie says, ooh, lasagna. It was really good. Really good. I'll be posting more details on the Instagram stories. Stay tuned.
caldo perché altrimenti non da piedi.
Susie says porticos. Oh yes, this is the city of porticos indeed. It completely covers the entire city, the city center at least, and you can walk a long time under the porticos, which is really, really awesome. Ali says, beautiful country, great history. Yes, lots of great history here in Italy, for sure. We're closer, we're in Bologna, so we're closer to where, just a little bit further down was the Etruscan area, which predates the Romans. But here, the most of the history is medieval and Renaissance when it comes to Bologna. Rome, you'll see basically all eras, but you'll see a lot of ancient Rome in Rome. Milan, you'll see more 1800s history, early 1900s. Bologna is where you see medieval and Renaissance, and Florence is very, very heavy on the Renaissance. So it really depends on what city you go to, what type of history you'll end up getting. Do you like being in Italy? Asks JJ. Yes, I do. I really love Italy. It's such a beautiful country. Lots of things to do. It's so stimulating visually, with taste and flavors. People here are generally nice. And it is such a beautiful country, for sure. Italy is not the easiest to connect with the locals on a deeper level, but people here are generally nice. It's a very few countries in the world where you can easily kind of, at least in Europe, where you can easily connect with the locals, and that's basically Ireland and Greece. But otherwise, Italy is just spectacular. La Dolce Vita. They call it La Dolce Vita on purpose, because it is the sweet life here in Italy. Is this next to the town called Salami? You know, I don't think Salami is named after a place. I think Salami is named after something else. But there are other places. It's right by Parma. So here you have Bologna, and right close to Bologna is Parmesan. JJ, I am located right now in Bologna. Rome is about 2 hours away from Bologna by high-speed train. Ooh, sorry, I did not put the right name on Twitch, but we are in Bologna. Susie asked, why do we pronounce it Bologna? Well, Bologna, I think it's more complicated. I actually don't know the history fully. Camilla says, how's your trip going? It's going very well. Oh wow, this is a high-end area. This is nice. You got Louis Vuitton. Exactly the shopping mall I needed. I needed a little bit of Louis Vuitton and Versace, a little bit of Bottega Veneta. Mika, nice to see you here. Susie, why did Facebook give you a warning? And then Josiah says, is going to Starbucks in Italy sacrilege? It depends on who you ask. You won't find too many Starbucks in Italy. I think one of the few Starbucks in Italy is in Milan, and I think there might be one in Rome. But you'll be hard-pressed to find Starbucks at all. You'll be hard-pressed to find American drip coffee. You would have to go to a specialty coffee shop. So I would recommend searching for coffee or for brunch, specifically those two words on Google Maps, if you're in an Italian city and want drip coffee. But otherwise, yeah, you're better off going to an Italian cafe. Embrace it. Have a good espresso, a cafe, as they say, or doppio, which means a double shot, or have yourself something with milk, like a cappuccino, macchiato. Cafe con panna, which is coffee with whipped cream. That was like the Fifth Avenue, says Janice. Yes. Whoa. That's cool. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I dig that style jacket. Oh, I gotta come back here. A lot of cool shopping opportunities here in Bologna. Bologna is a little bit more approachable in terms of shopping than Milan. Milan could be a bit intimidating. But like Bologna, there's a lot of options here. BC says, how's the weather? Finally, it is sunny and fairly warm, 72, 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Jade, welcome. Nice to see you here, Jade. Josiah says, is it LGBT friendly? So we are in a heavy university city. Italy in general is LGBT friendly. I doubt you'll find issues unless if you go to maybe very, very small towns in the south of Italy. But in general, it's very, very LGBT friendly. And Bologna is a university town. So here it definitely will be very open. It is very open. So I think you're okay here, or anyone who's worried about that, you'll be okay in Bologna and definitely the rest of Italy. Gary says, has your wallet taken any major hits? You do seem like to shop. Yeah, I do like to shop. No, it has not taken too many hits, luckily. Mika says, this reminds me of Nice. Yeah, it's very similar to Nice, for sure. Has a similar vibe. South of France and Italy share very similar kind of lifestyles. I think we went on a circle, but let's Try to find the huge towers. Okay, here we go. Nibud says, are Italians mostly friendly? I think yes. Yes. They are. They are indeed. Yvette, nice to see you here. Another pep rally, yeah, basically. Susie, that's right. MF says Modena is also close to here, which is the home of Ferrari. It is. There's a lot of cool stuff here in Bologna. Bologna is a great city for a base for day trips. To Parma, the home of Parmesan cheese. To Modena, the home of balsamic vinegar, and also Ferrari. To Venice is also nearby. You can go to Florence, also nearby, within an hour. So this is a great, great city for day trips. You can easily explore a huge chunk of Italy from here and not spend as much as you would staying in Venice or staying in Florence for a fraction of the price. Yvette says, thank you so much for taking us around with you. My pleasure. My pleasure. Mia piacere, I think is how they say in Italian. Here are the two medieval towers of Italy, of Bologna. Bologna used to be the medieval Manhattan. It was a unique site. Imagine coming here in the 1500s or so, 1400s, 1500s, 1600s, and being met with not just one tower or two towers, but hundreds all around the city. And that was indeed the case. It was a bunch of families all competing against each other to build the tallest tower that they could. This is amongst the tallest, and these are two of the very few that are still standing. And the entire city was filled with these, so it looked like Manhattan if you see an old illustration of it. Is there a lot of tourists or locals here? Hey, Rodriguez, there are tourists here, but there's more students than tourists. So the international speakers you hear here are more students, for sure. And then there's a lot of business travelers because Bologna is a very big city for conferences in Italy. Here's some old photos. What do they have for entertainment in this town, says Joe? Live for sure, lots of movie theaters. Definitely more than some other Italian cities. There is that's a good question. I'm not sure what else. I think there's a live theater from what I saw. Here it is. Here's a depiction of Bologna in medieval times, late medieval times. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Literally look at that. That is crazy. This is not an exaggeration. This is close to the historical accurate version of Bologna back in late medieval times, early Renaissance times. Hundreds of towers. The towers were indeed functional. Of course, there weren't rooms. The technology to build a tower where every floor was functional was not yet viable at that time. This was the age before steel construction. But the towers were indeed functional in that they could be used for military protection. And apparently they were a few times. And the towers, you can walk up to the top. So they were indeed used as lookout points, and they could be used for putting men with bows and arrows up the top, or other uses of oil being poured down, things like that. Joe says the graffiti ruined it. Unfortunately, it did. Unfortunately, it did. This one is in danger of collapsing. It's been in danger of collapsing for decades, if not hundreds of years. And here we can really get a sense of that. Look at that. Crazy.
We live in desert. Sì, 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 ho fatto la
Mika says, do you know how high the towers are? I don't know how high this one is. That's a good question. If I were to make a guesstimate, I'll say this is 100 plus feet tall. Definitely. Yeah, this looks... So here we have 1 story, 2 stories, 3 stories, 4 stories, 5 stories. And that's about a third of the tower. So the tower should have about 150 stories. I mean 150 feet. So about 15 stories tall. It's very, very tall. That one might be about 10 stories, 8 to 10 stories. That is my estimate. BC says 97 feet. Oh, I'm kind of shocked. Doesn't seem that it seems taller. Janice says they don't want to take it down for safety. I think for safety and landmarking. This is a good shot. Mika says in meters, please, mommy. I'll do my best, Mika. So here's the equation that we need to calculate the height of the towers. If anyone can find the height, let us know. BC is saying 97 meters. 97 meters. How tall is it in feet? Because it's definitely more than 97 feet. Has to be. A. Rodriguez says, are all churches in Europe grand? No, it depends on the country. The grandest churches you'll find in more Catholic countries, for sure, by far. With the second being Anglican countries, being England, and Anglican churches in Scotland and also in Ireland. So basically only Catholic and Anglicans are doing those super grand churches. When it comes to other countries like Scandinavian countries, some of them can be grand, but generally they're not as big as Italy, France, England, and maybe a few other countries like it's another country I went with big churches like Vienna, Germany. Once you start getting to the really Protestant countries, less extravagance. West Coast says Russia does have magnificent churches. Okay, thank you for letting us know. I don't have really much experience with Eastern Orthodox countries like Russia, so thank you for letting us know. Yeah, I can imagine. Look at this like little vintage bar. They say it's American. Look at that, that's so charming. So Joe, thank you so much for letting us know. It's 323 feet tall. That is insane. That is insane. That's gigantic. That's like taller than the Flatiron. Should be. Like, that's very tall. That's 30 stories tall, 32 stories tall. I am shocked it's that tall. That tower. Wow. Crazy. Imagine seeing that many hundreds of years ago. Never seen a tower that tall in your life and coming across these. Susie says places like these shouldn't have graffiti. They shouldn't, but they do. Unfortunately, they do. Janice says it's basically a tall 5'3". Indeed. Actually, it says, where are you? I am in beautiful Bologna, Italy. About an hour away from Rome, 2 hours away from Rome by train, an hour away from Venice by high speed, also Milan. It's right almost in the center of the country. A little bit further north. West Coast Walker says, grab some authentic Bologna. It is nice to grab some authentic Bologna, yeah. Josiah says you should have a bologna sandwich. You know, I am actually not a fan of mortadella, which is what people refer to as bologna in America. Never been a fan, even ever since I was a little kid. Never really liked bologna, nor the original version here, mortadella. Though there are some great hams here. I forgot the other names, but the lighter salami that tastes more similar to Virginia ham is amazing. All right, so that was a nice little stroll through Bologna. It's a very beautiful city. We saw a good chunk of the city center where a lot of the big historical landmarks are located. There's a little bit more to the city. There's like the university area. It's very nice, especially at nighttime. Lots of people hanging out about in the bars, in the aperitivo cafes. Highly, highly recommend it. It's such a pleasure to be in the city. Stay tuned, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be showing you more beautiful places around the world. I really appreciate it. And then stay tuned for short videos as well. Everyone, keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Arrivederci, amici. Arrivederci, amici.